So you might know this doll as Annabelle the doll, okay? But what if I told you that this isn't the real Annabelle? There's a real Annabelle. And let me tell you, when I found out that she was a real doll, I was on the floor. Now, I don't know why, be it Hollywood, be it the uncanny valley effect thing, but anyways, dolls, my number one fear. Today I want to talk about that, specifically about the real Annabelle the doll. But in order to do that, we have to start with Ed and Lorraine Warren. So Ed and Lorraine Warren were a couple that were paranormal investigators. So Ed was a self-taught and professional demonologist, and Lorraine was a medium and light worker, and together they worked together to help people with their paranormal encounters and hauntings. Together they wrote many books and solved over 10,000 cases. They were one of the first paranormal investigators on the, and I'm gonna butcher, I always cannot pronounce this, the I'm embarrassed. The Amityville Horror. I cannot ever pronounce that. I'm sorry, it's written here. Anyways, it is what it is. Yes, so they were one of the first people to work on that case. And also it inspired the movies. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of it. If you have ever watched a scary movie, you know what that one is. You also know about The Conjuring, and you know about Annabelle, who we are speaking about today. So these are the cases they worked on that eventually inspired these very popular movies. So in or around 1968, there were two roommates where one of them received a Raggedy Ann doll from her mom as a gift. And they would quickly claim that this Raggedy Ann doll was possessed by a little girl named Annabelle Higgins. Personally, I'm gonna believe them. They said that the doll would act very strange, and I'm gonna give you a few little stories. So they would come home to find the doll in different positions, and then they would also start finding the doll in different rooms. Not only would the doll be in different rooms, but they would find the doll in different rooms with the door closed. They would find her in different positions, with her legs crossed, then uncrossed, her arms crossed, sitting in different positions. They even once found her kneeling on a chair, which they found very weird because later they tried to make the doll kneel, and I don't know if you can see like how the doll is made, but it just was impossible for it to kneel. They would also find handwritten letters that said "help us" or "help Lou." But the thing is, they found it extra weird because it was written on parchment paper, and the girls didn't have parchment paper in their apartment. Lou was one of the girls' fiance who was living with them at the time. Apparently Lou really wasn't a fan of this doll and tried to tell the girls over and over again that there was something wrong with it. I read that one night Lou wakes up from a deep sleep, and doesn't he see the doll at the edge of his bed crawl up to him, and then like he had scratches on himself. I don't know if I believe this. I kind of do, I kind of don't. Anyways, it's fucking creepy. They also did find the doll one time when they came home with like some blood on its chest and on the back of her hands. I don't know if these things sound straight out of a movie because they did end up making movies about it or what, but one night the girls and Lou were looking up maps and writing down stuff on paper for a trip that he was going to take. The next day, he hears like ruffling sounds coming from a room with the door closed, and so he stood in front of it to wait for it to stop. And once the ruffling sounds stopped, he opens the door and he finds Annabelle just like laying on the floor, and near it ruffled papers of like what they were doing the night before. So they end up contacting a medium, and that's when they find out that the doll was haunted or possessed by Annabelle Higgins, a young girl. So that's when they contact Ed and Lorraine Warren. Ed and Lorraine Warren take Annabelle and they bring her to their occult museum, which was opened from 1950 and closed in 2019. It was located in Monroe, Connecticut. That's when the Warrens placed her in a glass box in their museum after they claimed that it was demonically possessed. Ed Warren does believe that the doll was responsible for one person's death. A man and his girlfriend had came to visit the occult museum on their motorcycle, and when he came into the museum, he decided to tap on Annabelle's wooden box, and he was just mocking her. Warren ended up kicking him out of the museum, and then on his way, while he was on his motorcycle, he got into an accident and died. His girlfriend did just suffer injuries, and I think she was in the hospital for about a year, but she survived. Warren did say that many of the stuff in their occult museum are the reasons for people's deaths or them just ending up in psychiatric hospitals. Do you believe in this stuff? Do you believe in Annabelle being possessed? Let me know. Also, let me know if you want to know anything else. Okay, I don't know where the picture went, but okay, there it is. Yeah, so let me know what you think. I'm creeped out by looking at this for too long. Let me know if you want me to make a part 2. I definitely can. Anyways, I'll talk to you later. Have yourself a good day, good evening, good night.